Did you know that there are people who don't like to be hugged, kissed, or shown affection? And that, in addition, they act in a very cold way in their relationships with family, partners, or friends. One possible cause is that during their childhood, they felt the absence of their parents or felt that they received very little affection from them. Let me remind you that perfect parents don't exist, and even if they did, all children grow up with some kind of childhood wound, such as abandonment, rejection, betrayal, injustice, or insecurity. Comment below. Now that I'm an adult, I have the ability and therefore the obligation to heal. Or is it that I'm not that much of an adult? How can you recognize someone who has a high vibration? Point number 1. Animals feel safe in their presence. Point number 2. People tend to feel attracted without really knowing why. Point number 3. Strangers feel inclined to talk and share their life stories. Point number 4. They can feel the energy in the atmosphere as soon as they enter a room. Point number 5. How some people irritate them just by embodying their true and authentic self. Point number 6. They soften spaces and people with their loving energy alone. Point number 7. They feel free from drama in their relationships. Right below, I am no longer interested in negative behaviors. How you hug reveals a lot about you. There's something almost no one tells you. A hug can either change attraction or kill it instantly. Here are also some tips for men to hug the woman they like better. Look, not all hugs mean the same thing. In fact, the body speaks before the mouth does. For example, a one-armed hug, when you hug a woman like this and she hugs you back with just one arm, usually sets some distance. It's polite and proper, but emotionally neutral. The underlying message is, I trust you, but I'm not getting fully close. Now watch this. When a woman hugs you from behind unexpectedly and with a bit of surprise, it usually means there's trust with you, there's playfulness, and existing emotional comfort. It's not a coincidence. This gesture appears when the body feels safe with you. Another key detail that almost no man understands: the distance between bodies. Sometimes we're in a hug but very far apart, or the pelvises are very far apart. So, when the bodies stay separated in some way, the message is one of friendship. Trust or fear of rejection. When there's natural closeness without tension, the message changes completely. And here's one of the most common mistakes. Many men place their hand too high on the back. One hand here, another here too high. That communicates neutrality, even insecurity. A hand a little lower without being intrusive but a bit lower conveys presence, calm, intention. It conveys desire. The body understands it before the mind does. It's important to understand this scientific fact. A hug that lasts more than 20 seconds releases oxytocin, reduces stress, and strengthens the emotional bond. These hugs shouldn't be forced. You have to create the moment. Attraction doesn't come from rushing, it comes from being present. The key isn't to touch more, but to be more aware. Because when a hug is remembered, it's no longer just a simple hug. There's a seed of desire, of good vibes. The body always tells the truth, even when the mind doubts. What do you think your hugs say about you? Write it in the comments. You can also write in the comments. A loving hug. And in general, advice for men: hug with a bit more presence. Maybe place your hand a little lower without being disrespectful. And if, for whatever reason, the bodies and pelvic areas are much closer, that creates a greater sense of intimacy and good vibes. This also creates a better connection between partners, or between people who want to be a couple. The energy of a person with an aura that no one forgets. How can you become the person everyone remembers? How can you develop your aura? A person with an aura doesn't shout, doesn't seek attention, doesn't force anything. He enters a room and you can already feel his presence. Without speaking, that's aura. And that's not magic, it's cultivated energy. Aura is your nonverbal presence. Aura is your posture, your gaze, your rhythm, your silence. Real self-esteem doesn't announce itself, it shows. A person with aura doesn't beg for love, doesn't justify themselves, doesn't shrink to fit in. They walk with their back straight, shoulders open, and head held high, even if they're scared on the inside. Because the body teaches the mind. The mind also teaches the body. A person with aura speaks with intention, not with anxiety. He doesn't fill silences out of nervousness. Intentional silence is power. The true aura is born when you balance two energies, the feminine and masculine energies. Feminine energy consists of presence, calmness, magnetism, mystery. It doesn't rush, it doesn't chase, it flows. Masculine energy is direction, decisiveness, focus, clear boundaries. When both are integrated, full energetic authority emerges. That person who speaks little, but when he does, everyone listens. Not because he dominates others, but because he masters himself. A person with an aura doesn't react from the ego. He chooses when to speak and when to step back. Because his energy is worth more than any argument. And remember this, people don't respond to what you say. They respond to what you embody, to what you make them feel. Every time you straighten up, when you breathe, when you choose to stay silent with presence, that you respect your boundaries, you are building your aura. Your power isn't in being liked, it's in standing your ground. Write in the comments below, my presence speaks before my words.